Tonight on Dispatch, your layout photos, the question of the week, and a big shout out. Coming right up. Good evening. You're watching Dispatch, the weekly variety show for model railroaders. I'm Roy Smith, your dispatcher. I'm glad you could join me tonight. As I said, we have your layout photos, the question of the week, and a big shout out on tonight's show. First up, your layout photos. And here are the photos of your layouts that you posted in our Facebook group this week. After the show, go over to the Facebook group and post a photo of your layout there. I will put a link to the group down below. You will know you're at the right place when you see this photo at Echo Canyon on my layout. Next up on tonight's show, the question of the week. And here's this week's question. What is the one thing you would most like manufacturers to do to improve model trains? Model trains have come a long way since the 1970s, especially N-scale trains. But there are still a lot of things that manufacturers could do to improve the model trains they produce. Here are the things you said manufacturers could do. You want manufacturers to put better couplers on their trains. And related to that, you said they could standardize their coupler heights. Better couplers was the thing you mentioned most often as being the one thing you'd most like manufacturers to do. You're looking for better coupling and uncoupling. You want fewer unwanted uncouplings. You would rather not have to swap out couplers every time you buy a new locomotive or piece of rolling stock. And you would rather not have to adjust coupler heights. You often mentioned that you would prefer factory-installed microtrains couplers on all brands of N-scale rolling stock. Next, you said that you would like to see a better selection of road names, along with a better standardization of paint schemes, and a better selection of older era rolling stock. Next, you would like locomotives to be speed matched right out of the box, or at the very least, you would welcome a simple system for speed matching your locomotives. Simple, easy to do, and effective. Next, you want consistent weight standards. Rolling stock should meet NMRA weight standards, you said. Manufacturers need to add more weight to most of their rolling stock. Next, you would like decoder installation to be easier. You would like to see decoders and decoder CVs to be standardized. Next, you would like manufacturers to install Keep Alive in all locomotives in all scales so that they don't stall out on turnouts or dead spots in the track. You want Keep Alive to be factory installed because not many of us want to do the milling that might be required to make space inside the shell of locomotives for Keep Alive, especially in N scale. Standardized wheel sets. You would like to see manufacturers equip rolling stock with metal wheels having smaller flanges and standardized axle lengths so that you don't have to keep swapping your wheels every time you buy new rolling stock. Next, you would like locomotives to have brighter lights, especially the ditch lights. Next, you would like locomotives to have more durable handrails that don't bend, break, or snap out of position when you touch them. You would like locomotives to run more smoothly. You would like them to be more responsive to throttle commands and have more pulling power, and you would like all of this to happen especially at startup or at slower speeds. You want turnouts that are ready to use right out of the box and do not require any modifications for DC or DCC. Naturally, you would like to see lower prices in order to make the hobby more affordable. You would welcome plug-and-play feeder-to-bus wire connections. You would appreciate better, easier ways to reverse track polarity, as in reversing loops, Ys, and turntables. And finally, you would welcome any maintenance tutorials that manufacturers might provide. Well, there you have it. These are the things you said you would like manufacturers to do to improve model trains. Thanks for your responses to this week's question. Remember, when you respond to a question of the week, you are sharing the hobby with others. And sharing the hobby may just be the best part of model railroading. Sharing the hobby is the real purpose of these questions. Now, we do have a question for the coming week, and here it is. What products do you use to clean your track and improve its conductivity? Tell us what those products are in the comments section down below. Then I will discuss your responses to this question in Dispatch next week. Again, the question for the coming week is, what products do you use to clean your track and improve its conductivity? Now it's time for tonight's big shout-out. And tonight's big shout-out goes to Tyler Whitcomb and his N-Scale Tanino Western Railroad. Tyler's Tanino Western Railroad is set in the Pacific Northwest during the late 1980s, early 1990s. The railroad mostly hauls wood, stone, and agricultural products. His layout room measures 15 feet by 24 feet. He uses 4-cycle waybills and track warrants to govern operations. I'm sure you'll agree that the Tanino Western Railroad is an impressive layout when you see it. So let's go over and take a look at it right now in a clip from one of Tyler's recent videos. I hope you will take a look at some of Tyler's videos. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. I will put a link to his channel down below. And Tyler, if you're out there watching Dispatch tonight, thanks for sharing your layout with the rest of us. Now, you'll remember that I did a big shout out to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum in last week's episode of Dispatch. Well, Nick of Nick's Collectible Creations visited the museum earlier this year and has uploaded a video about it called Colorado Model Railroad Museum Tour. I really enjoyed his video. It includes a behind-the-scenes look at operations of this giant model railroad. I will put a link to it down below. Now, I'm continuing to renovate the Evanston area of my layout. My latest video in the Evanston renovation series is called Creating Terrain in the Railroad Complex. In this video, I work on the terrain around the structures in the railroad complex at Evanston on my layout. What I'm doing is, of course, scenery work, which most of us in the hobby enjoy. I will put a link to this video down below. And this past Saturday, I uploaded a very short video to explain that I'm starting to plant vegetation in the railroad complex and that I would be bringing you a video about it soon. Well, I did put down some ground cover, but later on, when I tried to apply static grass, I discovered, to my dismay, that my static grass applicator no longer works. I couldn't fix it, so I had to order a new one, which will take a week to a week and a half to get here. But in response to that short video about vegetation, I received a comment from Craig Sickles that I want to share with you. Craig said, "When you plan, take your time, and really care, the results shine through. I feel that I am in Evanston." I really appreciate your comment, Craig. To say that you feel as if you are in Evanston is positively the nicest compliment that one model railroader can ever pay to another. Thank you so much. I will also put the link to the entire Evanston renovation series down below so that you can go back and watch any episode that you may have missed along the way. Remember, there are tons of other videos for you to watch right here on this channel. I will put a link to my videos page down below, or you can go directly to these two videos over here just by clicking on them. Well, thank you for letting me share the world's greatest hobby with you on Dispatch tonight. I'm Roy Smith. Until next time, happy railroading.